To another edition of Chess Chat, a program designed to give you, the viewer, a good understanding and an appreciation of the fascinating world of chess. I am George Merijanian, Program Director of the Wachusett Chess Club at Fitchburg State University. This club meets every Wednesday evening from 7 to 11 in room C-159 in the McKay complex at the university. And with me today at the Fitchburg Access Television Production Center is our award-winning director, Darren Dame of Fitchburg. He's assisted in the control room by fellow resident and longtime Wachusett Chess Club member, Brian Bigelow. And behind the camera, following all the action, is Fitchburg resident and longtime FEB volunteer, Andy Hawthorne. And across from me, sitting is my trusty co-host, colleague, noted chess writer, and a very accomplished assistant webmaster for the Wachusett Chess Club, Dave Couture, Westminster. Hello, Dave.
Hello, George.
Well, Dave, today's Chess Chat is we're going to talk about the Pro Chess League. Mm-hmm. Now, can you tell our viewers what is this Pro Chess League? We have to tell our viewers what this is. Well, how would you describe this Pro Chess League?
It's a worldwide chess league.
Yes.
So there's teams in North America, Europe, Asia.
Yeah. Is this online?
It's
online chess.
It's mostly online, other than the final.
Okay.
But yeah, it's an online chess league where the viewers, and they get a lot of viewers, tens of thousands of viewers. You can watch the coverage of the games online between the various teams.
Right.
Each team has a roster of, I think, roughly 10 to 15 players.
Okay.
Each week they have to pick 4 players to compete, and so each of the 4 plays each of the other team's 4.
Oh, you know, that's a system, that type of competition where each member of a team plays the other 4 members of the team. That's called, some people call it the Scheveningen system. It's actually after a place in the Netherlands called Scheveningen. Mm-hmm. There was a team tournament played in 1923 where they adopted that system where each player would play every other member of the opposing team. Yeah. Now, this Pro Chess League that you said now was now worldwide, mm-hmm. and it actually to bring in more cities and countries, actually replaced a chess league that existed in this country, the U.S. Chess League, which is strictly American teams.
Right.
But this actually extends now. We have teams from Moscow, Estonia, India, China, Australia, even the country of Georgia. I mean, it's expanded.
Yep.
You told me
32 teams.
Yeah, you told me it was 4 divisions.
Right.
There was an Eastern and a Central. The Eastern was actually more European. Central was more European countries.
Right.
And the Eastern was more, including China or Australia. No, that's the Pacific. You told me that the 4 divisions are Eastern, Central, Atlantic, and Pacific.
Right.
And there were 8 teams in each of these divisions.
Yep.
In one of the divisions, the Atlantic divisions, we have 2 Massachusetts players. Yep. Now, this is why we're doing this show, because we actually have 2 players, residents of Massachusetts, who have connections. Well, one of them has definitely a connection to the Wachusett Chess Club.
Right.
She's a former Wachusett Chess Club champion. Tell our viewers who this individual is.
Carissa Yip.
Carissa Yip.
We've mentioned her many times before. Her. She's been on the show. Right.
She won the Wachusett Chess Club Championship in 24. There she is. There's a photo of Carissa. She won the Chess Club Championship in 2014.
And I think that's taken at the St. Louis Chess Club.
Yes. And you went there, by chance, met the founder of the St. Louis Chess Club, Rex Sinkfield.
Yep.
So you had the opportunity to meet actually the founder of that club. That is actually the chess mecca in this country, St. Louis Chess Club. Okay, but besides Carissa Yip, who was club champion, we have another player who is the #1 player in Massachusetts, Grandmaster. He lives in Worcester County. He's a Central Mass resident.
Yeah.
His name is?
Sam Sevian.
Sam Sevian. He lives in Holden, right north of Worcester. And he is, you told me he was not only #1 in the state, but you said he also in the country. You told me at the time he number 12. When you told me he was number 12 ranked as far as his rating as a Grandmaster, I checked on the U.S. Chess Federation website. They have him now in 9th.
Wow.
He's moved up to 9th place among all the Grandmasters, or the top players, which are predominantly Grandmasters.
And he's still young, right?
He just turned 18 years old the day after Christmas.
Wow.
Okay, so he is really number 1 in the state, and again among the top 10 in the country.
Yeah.
And he's playing. He and Carissa are playing on this team in the Pro Chess League. The name of the team is what? The
Montclair Sopranos.
Montclair Sopranos. Okay, nothing to do with the team.
Well, I think it is.
It's a takeoff on
Montclair is in New Jersey.
Yes, right.
So
Montclair.
I think it is a takeoff on the television
It's spin-off of the show, Sopranos. Yeah. Okay. Now, what we're going to, well, we should talk about Sam Sevian before we present. We're going to present a game by Sam Sevian.
Yep.
Sam Sevian, as I told you, he lives in Holden. His parents are Armin and Armini Sevian. They were born in Armenia. His parents were born in Armenia, but Sam was born here in Corning, New York, in the year 2000. It was December 26, 2000. But his father came over in 1996 and with his mother, because he was pursuing doing doctoral studies. He is actually one of the leading scientists in this country for laser technology. He's the principal scientist for a laser manufacturing company, which I think now is located in Oxford, although they do have offices in Boston. I don't know the name of the company, but he is actually one of the foremost authorities on laser technology in this country, Armin Sevian. So, but Sam Sevian became a Grandmaster at a very young age. In fact, at the time, I think he established a new record for the youngest ever Grandmaster in this country. 13 years, 10 months, 27 days, he became an international Grandmaster. The World Chess Federation awarded him that title at that age when he was 13 years, 10 months. It's amazing. Now, I have to thank you profusely. There's some photos that Darren has been showing of Sam Sevian. These are file photos of Sam. And he actually, what am I going to say? You found this great game from the Pro Chess League.
Oh, right, yeah.
This was played early in the season. They started.
I think it was only a couple weeks ago.
All right, so it's a recent game.
Yep.
This was played against a team from London, London Lions.
Yep.
It was the London Lions. And his opponent in this match between the Montclair Sopranos and the London Lions was an international master by the name of Ravi Haria. Yeah, Ravi Haria is a British citizen. I don't know whether his folks, whether the name Haria could indicate, especially with the name name Ravi.
Yeah, probably.
He could actually, his folks could be immigrants from another country, but they're all British citizens.
Yep.
And this was played in that match, and we're going to present it to our Chess Chat viewers, because I think it's a fascinating game. You actually found a very good game to present to our viewers. So Sam had white in the game. How did he open this game against Ravi Haria?
He starts with e4.
Okay, good standard opening move. Yep. Okay, and what black Ravi responded with was e6, the pawn to e6. Now, what is this indicative? What is this characteristic of?
This is the French defense.
This is known as the French defense. Okay, how does Sam continue?
Well, he plays d4, which is pretty much standard if your opponent's going to allow you to put both pawns in the center.
You should do it. Yes, if you're given the opportunity.
You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with that.
You can never go wrong. Okay, what Ravi did on his second move is play d5. The pawn to d7 to d5. Now he's actually attacking the pawn on d4. Okay, now before we present Sam's third move, what choices did he have here? I mean, white has a number of choices.
The most common is knight to c3.
That's the most common. Okay.
And this downside of that is that black usually comes
brings
in
with the bishop to b4, pinning the knight.
Pins the knight immediately.
Okay, so all right, so that's one option.
There's also the possibility of immediately exchanging.
Exchanging. E takes d5. That's exchange variation.
Yeah. There's
what else is possible?
The advanced variation where you just lock up the pawn structure.
Okay.
And then also what Sam played, which is knight to d2, so he's defending this.
He's still defending that pawn.
But if the bishop comes here to pin, it can just be driven away.
Right. So that's why knight d2 is.
Knight to d2 is...
To avoid the pin with the bishop.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so what Ravi did after Sam's knight d2 was take the pawn on e4. D pawn takes e4. D takes e4. Is that what he did?
Yeah.
Okay. And Sam recaptures the pawn.
Knight takes e4.
Knight takes e4. Now here is a move that I have never seen. I've never seen this before, and I never heard of the name of this variation until you brought it to my attention. What Ravi played he played the bishop on c8 to d7. Now, I have played against the French defense, and all these years that I've been playing chess, I've had no one ever play this move against me in this when we've reached this position. But this has a name, and I said it's called the Fort Knox variation. Right. But you know what? I did a little research after you told me what this is called, and I found out that the great Jose Raul Capablanca, when he was 13 years old, Capablanca, by the way, was the third world champion. Yeah, back in the 1920s. He played this when he was 13 years old against, it was in a casual game in Havana, Cuba. He was Cuban. Yeah. And he played it against a player called Corso, Enrique Corso. I really feel that Capablanca was denied the opportunity of having this variation named after him. I mean, again, at the age of 13, and no one probably remembered that he played this 1902. February. In fact, it happened to be on February 3rd, 1902. Really? I found the date that Capablanca, at the age of 13, played this. So it's rather interesting that Capablanca, young Capablanca, played. Now, what is the problem, the usual problem of those who play the French defense?
The problem is usually this pawn here blocking in that bishop.
Yeah, it actually shuts in this bishop, blocks in this bishop, and this is why this bishop is referred to as the bad bishop, or the problem bishop.
The problem, or the French bishop.
The French bishop. Yeah, there's a problem developing this bishop, but Capablanca, even at a young age, realized, I'm going to solve my problem of developing that bishop. Right. So how does Sam respond?
Yeah, we'll see it on the next move.
What's Sam do now?
Sam plays knight f3.
Okay, so he just keeps on with his development pieces.
Developing, yep.
And here is where Ravi plays bishop c6 on his fifth move. He now has the bishop attacking this undefended knight on e4. Okay. Right. Sam's move, what does he do?
Sam plays bishop to d3, guarding the knight, developing the bishop.
Right, and look, he already has 3 pieces developed, ready to castle, and black has actually spent all of these 2 moves getting to this square, only to get that bishop, actively placed. All right, so what did Ravi do after bishop d3? Well, he brought now the knight to d7, knight on b8 goes to d7. Okay, so he's...
And we can point out the reason it's called the Fort Knox is because it's felt to be a very solid defensive setup, but it's considered to be passive also.
It's passive, right. And anyone playing this variation has to be very patient.
Right.
But it's a solid structure. Right. Yeah. So what does Sam do?
He castles.
So he castles, all right. So Ravi just has to keep on developing. The knight on g8, he plays the f6. Knight gf6. Okay, that's where he is. Okay. Yep. All right, so now it's Sam's move. What does he do now after on his 8th move?
This is kind of interesting. Knight on e to g5.
Okay. Now, that's not the only move, but that actually seems to be more in vogue now.
Yeah.
I've seen games where this knight actually has gone back, where white refuses to have an exchange of knights and just brings the knight back to g3.
To g3, right.
But this certainly has a point to it. The knight also avoids capture by being moved to g5.
Yeah.
But what does black do in response to that? Well, here is what Ravi did. He played the bishop on f8 to d6.
Yeah.
He puts it on a very active diagonal here, bishop d6 down to the h2, aiming at the castle king.
Right.
All right, so what does Sam do now?
He plays rook to e1 on the half open
Yes.
e file.
Yeah, because the rook has no future of staying on f1.
Right.
I mean, it has to be activated and put on the semi-open file. All right, in response to rook e1, well, I guess black, and I think you pointed out to me that this is actually a mistake or an error, or you pointed out that this is frowned upon, or is this playable? Well, that's what he played. But anyways, he played h6. He said, I want to kick that knight away. I don't like that knight there on g5.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I don't know if he saw, what was coming.
I don't think he expected what was coming.
Yeah.
I think he underestimated what he can do here.
And I guess we should point out, too, that this is a pretty short time control that they play at. It's 15 minutes each plus, I believe, 2 seconds increment with each move. So 2 seconds gets added each
because
move.
this is what they call rapid chess.
Yeah, this
rapid
is
chess, where they're playing 15 minutes. Each player gets 15 minutes thinking time.
Right.
A 2-second increment means they get, additional 2 seconds for each
extra
move?
2 seconds added.
Extra 2 seconds added for each move.
So that's sort of significant because you can play more speculative moves, and if it's rapid, you can do things like what he did, which is knight takes e6.
So he's taking the pawn on e6, attacking the queen, and also threatening also here over taking g7 with check.
Right.
So Ravi doesn't have much of a choice here.
Right, he just takes.
He's got to take. He took the f pawn takes the knight on e6. F takes e6. So Sam has sacrificed the knight.
Yeah.
Okay.
He sacrificed it for.
Yeah. What is he? What is he going to get out of this by sacrificing it?
Well, his next move, his 11th move, is bishop to g6 check. So now black is not going to be able to castle.
Right. So the king has to move.
Has to move.
All right. So the king, he moves the king to f8.
Yep.
King moves over. He could have gone to
e7. Probably would have been better.
Yeah. Right. So he could actually keep this square probably open to bring the rook over. And then bring. Okay. Yes.
Because as it is now, he's going to block in his own rook.
Yeah, I know. But he chose to play king f8. He shut in this rook on h8.
Yeah.
Okay. What does Sam do now?
So now plays queen e2, continuing the attack. So now he's he's got two pieces on that.
Right, exactly. He's got 2 pieces piling up, threatening to take that pawn.
Alternatively, he could.
Yes, he could. Actually,
he could have just taken.
Yeah, actually, he didn't have to play king. He could actually, with the rooks, just come down and take the pawn.
But he decided
I think he wants the queen to lead the attack.
Yep.
So that's why he put the queen in front of the rook. So after queen e2, Ravi plays the knight on d7 to b6. He feels he wants to, maybe needs that bishop to come back and help in the defense on this side, or try to trade off this light squared bishop that's very annoyingly posted on g6.
Right.
All right, what did Sam do after Ravi's knight b6?
c4.
What's he threatening?
Well, now he's threatening to push it one more time, forking.
And threatening actually to getting it to piece back.
Piece back, yeah.
Yeah, all right. So black cannot allow that to happen. So what he does, he plays the bishop on d6 to b4 and attacks the rook on e1.
Yep.
Okay, so what is Sam going to do in response to this?
He just slides it over to d1.
Okay. So yeah, he has to save it, although he could have actually blocked it with the bishop, but I think he wants to hold on to this bishop, for some reason.
Yeah.
So that's why he played rook d1. Okay, so this is where Ravi realized, well, attacking the rook did nothing.
Yeah.
The rook is safe, so he brings the bishop back to e7.
Yeah.
Yeah, brings it back. What does it do here? I mean, it's defending a knight, which is not attack.
It's an attack. So what he probably needed to have done.
Yes. What should he have done?
Was play bishop to e8 to get rid of that.
He should have done that.
Yeah.
He should have brought the bishop to e8. Say, look, I want to exchange these bishops because this bishop is very dangerously posted on g6.
Yeah.
Instead, he brought the bishop back to e7.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did Sam do now?
So he presses forward with the attack, d5.
Okay, so now we have it. Well, what Ravi did in response to that, he exchanged pawns here.
Yep.
The e pawn takes the pawn on d5. E takes d5 was black's move. Okay.
Right.
Now, Sam's idea was not to take back here with the pawn.
Right.
By moving that pawn to d5, what Sam did was vacate this square
Yes.
for his next
For
move.
his knight to d4. So now
What's his threat?
he's threatening to fork the king and
He's trying to
queen.
come into e6 and fork the king and the
Yep.
queen and win the queen. All right. So Ravi has to make a decision. He certainly doesn't want to have his king and queen forked. So in response to that, he brings his queen up to d7. So
Right, and again, that's probably a mistake.
That's a mistake. What should he have done?
We're
he have
talking
done?
about it, how if he had played here,
Oh, here instead.
that when white came to attack it,
He could block with the bishop.
block with the bishop.
Uh,
But now that he's here,
so this is a mistake.
Yeah.
We have to definitely label this an error
Yeah.
by playing the queen to d7.
but again, it's a short time control. He doesn't have a lot of time to think.
Right.
So, Sam
Aha.
plays bishop to f5, attacking the queen.
Okay, that was move 17.
Yeah.
The queen is now under attack, and he cannot block this attack from the bishop. He's got to move the queen,
Yeah.
and he can't move the queen back to d8,
Right,
as we see, because of the
fork,
knight
right.
coming in,
Yep.
and the fork check would win the queen.
Yep.
So he's forced to move the queen now to e8.
Right.
He goes to e8. That's his only move
Yep.
to save the queen. Now what happens? It's Sam's move, and he plays what?
Knight to e6 check, so he just sinks that knight right in there.
All right, so he attacks the king, and the king now moves to g8. King
Yep.
g8 is his move. Okay. How does Sam continue?
But now Sam has a fork. Knight takes e7, he's forking the
Queen and the rook.
queen and the rook. Yeah.
All right. So the queen, to save itself, has to move. He's got to relinquish the rook, but he's got to at least save the queen.
Yep.
So what he does is move the queen to h5. So now, does he move the queen to
Yep.
h5?
Yep.
That's right, he can, because remember, the knight is protecting the queen on
Yes,
h5.
yep.
And now he'd like to be able to exchange queens, because that's the most dangerous piece,
Right.
is the queen. So what does Sam do in response to queen h5?
So Sam doesn't want to exchange queens, so he
Right.
plays g4,
Right.
attacking the queen.
All right. So the queen has to move again.
Yep.
So the queen now moves down to h3. This square.
Yeah.
This looks like a safe square.
Yeah.
Queen h3. That's where Ravi brings his queen to h3. Now what does Sam do?
But it's not a safe square.
No,
because
it's not
Sam
safe at
plays
all.
rook to d3, attacking the queen.
Okay. Now, Ravi only has one move here to save the queen.
I think, yeah.
There's only one square he
Right.
can go to save it.
Yep.
He goes queen h4. All right, so the queen is there. How does Sam continue? Well, what does he do?
So Sam, he could have just taken the rook.
That's right, he could have.
immediately.
And there's some players I know, like
Yeah, I mean-
we know players who in this position would have actually just taken the rook.
That'd probably be my first thought.
Yeah,
would be.
but as you look at this position more closely, you realize there's something even better.
Right.
Oh, in chess, there are good moves, but then there are better moves, and you should always be looking.
Right. That's the saying is something like when you find a good move, look for a better move.
Look for a better move.
Take the time to look for a better move.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
I would say. So what Sam did was just follow his
just
instinct.
takes- queen takes e7.
Yeah, it takes the
So he
bishop.
wins his piece back.
Okay, and now what Ravi did was now just capture this pawn on c4 with the d
Yeah.
pawn, which attacks the rook.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
He's in trouble already. So he plays d takes c4, the pawn on c4 attacks the rook on d3, but Sam now plays what?
Now Sam plays knight to e6.
And what is his
And
threat?
the threat is queen here, checkmate.
Wow.
So-
well, how does he stop this?
There's no stopping it other than, I think we said.
No, he doesn't give
I think the only thing we could see was knight to guard that square, but then,
Right.
then he loses the queen.
Then he's going to lose. He will lose. Yeah, right. This loses the queen.
Right.
Yeah.
So he resigned.
He
resigned at this point.
So this was how many moves? This is what, 23 moves.
23 moves. Yeah.
Okay, a very short, quick win, a tactical win by
Yep.
Sam Sevian, who again, as we told our viewers, is the #1 player in Massachusetts. But you know what's interesting about Sam Sevian? Now, the last time I saw him, he plays actually in these tournaments like in Sturbridge. Bill Goichberg, who's the #1 organizer in the country, holds his 2 tournaments a year in Sturbridge.
Very large tournaments,
turnouts.
hundreds of players.
There's one coming up in April. I hope to visit in April. But you know another tournament I expect that Sam Sevian will play in a few months?
Probably the Foxwoods.
Foxwoods.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, the Foxwoods Casino had the chess players, I think, 18 years ago, start doing chess tournament at Foxwoods. Then about 5 years ago, the people who run Foxwoods said, you know, these chess players, they're not hey, they're coming, they're not drinking, they're not gambling. We don't need these chess players. You know, why don't you just pack it up, chess players, and go elsewhere? Well, I guess they had a change of heart. The people who run Foxwoods said, you know, I think we need you people back. We need those chess players back because they're good. They fill the rooms. They occupy the hotel rooms. You know, even though they don't drink and gamble.
I'd be
like
interested in knowing what caused them to change their minds.
Yeah. Well, after 5 years, after an absence of 5 years, chess players will be back at Foxwoods in April, late April. I expect that Sam Sevian will be there because I think the first prize. Let's see. What is the first? I think it's a 10,000.
Yeah, I think that's right. 10,000 first prize.
10,000. That's a very good prize.
Yeah.
You know, and this will attract players not only from around the country, top players, but I expect the players from overseas, from Europe especially, will come over.
Because they did in the past, right? When they used to have the Foxwoods.
Yes. This is. I would say to our viewers, if you have the opportunity to go down like the third weekend in April. That we want to see the top players, you know, in this country, as well as some top players in the world. They'll be playing actually at the Foxwoods Casino, you know, in the.
Is it Easter weekend? Because in the past it was always Easter weekend.
Well, it depends on what. Maybe it's because Easter. No, would Easter fall that late? I haven't checked the calendar. Sure. But I know that Bill Goichberg, who's the P.T. Barnum of chess in this country, is holding 2 tournaments in the month of April. The Sturbridge. I think there's 2 weeks in between. But again, Sam Sevian would be there. And I would say anybody who has the opportunity to go and see Sam Sevian and other grandmasters is an opportunity to go there. So this Pro Chess League, we should point out actually who founded this league.
Oh, right.
You told me it was actually Greg Shahade.
Greg Shahade, yeah.
Who is the brother of Jennifer Shahade. Anybody watching chess online who has watched the U.S. Championship at the St. Louis Chess Center has seen Jennifer Shahade with Grandmaster Yasser Seirawan.
Right.
They do the commentary with Maurice Ashley. By the way, you knew that Grandmaster Yasser Seirawan came to Fitchburg. He came actually in the year 1984. And you know, he gave a simultaneous exhibition at the St. Joseph Club in Clay Club. Oh yeah, that's where the Wachusett Chess Club was meeting. Back in the 80s, all through the 80s, right until the mid-90s, Yasser Seirawan said, I want to come to Fitchburg. I understand there's a chess club in your city. And I made contact with him, and he said, yeah. I picked him up at Logan Airport.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and he came. It was in the fall of 1984 that he gave an exhibition at the St. Joseph Club.
I wasn't aware of that because I had moved up here in '83, I think.
Was it 83?
December of '83?
Okay, so yeah, you weren't aware that actually
I wasn't.
He was giving us some. Well, that was written up actually in the Sentinel Enterprise. In fact, you know who did an excellent interview of Yasser Seirawan? Was the former sports editor of the Sentinel Enterprise named Chris Daly. Chris Daly, who now actually sells real estate. It's his mother's business. His mother was running a business selling real estate. And Chris now, who loved writing for the newspaper, he really had an ability to write good sports stories, left the Sentinel and went into real estate business. Anyways, we hope our Chess Chat fans enjoyed the game that Dave and I presented to you, and we hope to see you next time for another exciting game on Chess Chat.